I'm Jessica Mikowski, mindset coach, co-founder of Yogi Triathlete, and host of the Awake Athlete podcast. Welcome to Season 6, The Road to El Cruce. This season is a living documentary, my journey to a 3-day 100K stage race through the wild terrain of Patagonia. It's not just about endurance training, it's about exploring the mental, emotional, and spiritual edges that shape us. There's no set schedule. Episodes will drop as the layers peel back. My hope is that in hearing my story, you remember your own strength and your own path home. This is me showing up in real time, and I am all in. I'm so glad you're with me. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 5. Okay, this is my road to El Cruce in December. And about a handful of days ago, the profiles for each stage dropped. And yeah, I did what any curious athlete does. I just zoomed straight in. The whole day got halted. I just started looking at them. I didn't even read about them. The first thing I wanted to do was just look at them and notice that initial response and just kind of soaking in a little bit. So 3 days, 3 stages, and now we have the lay of the land. And it's interesting when you go from the unknown into the known, right? Like the unknown, I knew it was going to be around 100K. It's actually a little bit less. And I estimated maybe, 12, 13,000 feet of climbing over the 3 stages. And so not too far off on those, but it's interesting when you see the actual architecture for each day and you're like, my freaking body and mind is going to do that. And then on day 2, it's going to do that. And on day 3, it's going to do that. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. When I signed up for this race, it was the first event in a long time, actually, where I felt like those butterflies in my stomach, or I felt just kind of like, oh man, this thing feels a little legit. So what do they look like, right? So day 1, it starts with just this monster climb. And over the course of the day, 1,600 meters of climbing, which is about 5,200 feet. And 31K, which is about 19 miles. So most of that climbing, it looks like from the profile, is going to come from that first monster climb. And then the descent looks about as equal. The descent looks pretty legit as well. And then day 3 is also a beast with basically a sustained climb from the start all the way to about 18K, which is more than half the stage. The descent looks insanely steep. The climb is described as technical, and so I'm assuming the descent's going to be technical as well. And so the vital statistics on the day for stage 3 is 30K or 18 and a half miles, and then 1,500 meters of climbing, which is about 4,920 in feet. So we start big and we finish big. But day two definitely has my attention because I think that this stage has the potential to be grossly underestimated. It's not a single big climb. It's constant climbing, constant descending. There's no chance for rhythm. And I know that this stage is going to be surprisingly runnable, which is the thing that is just going to shred you. And I think this is really where the durability that I'm feeling is so important as a precursor to being successful at this event. I really think that a stage like this, it just demands that durability. And it reminded me immediately of Lake Sonoma 50 Mile, which is described in one word as relentless. And that's exactly what this middle day looks like. It looks relentless. I had to become a wild animal to finish the Lake Sonoma 50. And in my calculations leading into the race, it was a tight cutoff. I want to say the cutoff was 14 hours, and it was almost 11,000 feet of climbing over 50 miles. And it was just relentless up and down. I think there was maybe 1, if not 2, significant bigger climbs, but nothing, everything else was just up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It was so relentless. And it's funny to look back on that because I do have this belief and I have so much evidence in my life that like all these little stops along the way in life like prepare us for what's next. And Lake Sonoma 50 definitely prepared me for day 2 of this stage race. Just having that confidence, knowing that I could do it. I did it over 50 miles is really great. And I think that's where experience really comes in so nice and handy because of that immediate mind reaction that I saw when I saw the stages was like, kind of went into that, almost like that panic training, And then once you get into that pause, you can see like, hold on a second, like I've got plenty of evidence in the past. And even if you don't have any big ultras under your belt, it's just like, are you a consistent athlete? Are you working on your mind? Are you nullifying doubt? Are you showing up for the work? Are you answering the question, what's the most important thing for my training right now? Like, you're not me. I'm not you. I'm just saying this is how I work it in my own self, right? Is that I love that I remember Lake Sonoma 50 and thinking that it was preparing me for something else. And the Bryce Canyon 50 miler in 2020, which was like, I don't even know which one was harder. Those 2 days were so hard. And I totally underestimated the section of Red Canyon on the Bryce Canyon 50 mile. And the podcast that we did on the Yogi Triathlete podcast after I did the Bryce Canyon, I've actually listened to it recently. And that girl that did that race that day and that girl that did the Lake Sonoma, like she's a part of me. And I tell that to my athletes, when they finish a race and sometimes they can fall kind of into the blues. It's like, we don't have to struggle so much with the other side of things. Like it's that big thing that you did, like that you worked so hard towards, like that's a part of you now. Like we don't have to cling to it. We don't have to be sad that it's over. It's like, it's a part of me now. And so that girl that has crossed the finish lines, I don't know, I think I've done like 11 ultras or 12 ultras. I can't remember. Yeah. She has shown up in some really tough spots on challenging terrain. And I think that that's what this race is going to require all of us to experience. And that really, really, really excites me. So yeah, day 1, day 2, day 3, they all need to be respected because this is a legit adventure. It's a mountain ultra. And now that I see and know what this body and the bodies of all the others alongside me are going to be required to do, it's like my mind can easily go into like 2 different mindsets, right? So the first one it went into was like a little bit of a panic training, like, oh shit, like my mind racing from like training sesh to see how I can do more. I should do the Palomar double dip with BJ. I got to climb more, run more. And I was like, whoa, that feels awful. It feels overwhelming. It feels like too much, right? And then I got into the pause because I just can see, and it's been years and years and years and years of really getting to know that voice that speaks from fear, and speaks from scarcity. And that ability to see that quicker and quicker is like available to all of us. And so it's all about getting into that pause. And the first thing I do is, I have a very logical mind. So I always remember that part of me, that panic training part of me, it's like, it's the part that's trying to keep me safe. It like wants me to be prepared. But it just takes the enormity of what we're doing, and it doesn't take any evidence or really like pauses to take the reality of my truth in my training right now, which is like, I am consistent, I am strong. The strength I've been doing in the gym now for months, I can really feel it in my body. I feel connected, I feel fit. So I feel like I feel good. I'm sleeping well. And so I feel like I'm in a really good place. And so I'm safe here now. And that recognition of where we are now really helps that nervous system to realize like, okay, yeah, that's right. And I'm not doing these stages. They're not tomorrow. It doesn't start tomorrow. I have plenty of time. But the nervous system, when I'm looking at those stages, my nervous system doesn't know that that's in the future. It's looking at that. It's taking in the enormity, like in the here and now. My mind is responding to that. And it's like, you got to be safe. You got to do more. But then that pause comes, right? And I see it's the part of me keeping me safe. And it comes from such like an earnest and well-intentioned part of us. But that's all it is. It's just a part of us that is trying to keep us safe. It's not who we are. We don't need to be so emotionally tied to it. And how do we do that, right? We don't do it purposefully. We just do it time and again, doing the reps, getting in the pause, taking a breath, before we respond. It's all of that a little bit every day over a long period of time, and that's when you start to realize like, that's just this well-intentioned part of me that's trying to keep me safe and honor my hard wiring. But the thing is, I am safe and the race is months from now. And I'm like really feeling good about where I am. And as my teacher would say, he's like, well, it's where you are, right? Like you can feel however you want about it. But the truth is, it's just, you are where you are. And so you just keep moving forward from here. And, an event like El Cruce, I just feel like I was meant for it. I'm so out of my comfort zone and I do crave that. And, but I'm like, feel like I'm completely nailing the training and the fitness is sliding in and the strength work I've been doing at the gym is absolutely paying dividends. And I keep answering the question, what is the best thing for my training? And that's really, really guiding things. So, leaning into what's true. And it's a great follow-up from the last episode. There's this internal scramble to somehow catch up, even though you haven't fallen behind. And that's the sneaky thing about the panic training mindset. It's not about where you are. It's about where fear thinks you should be. And like I said, I just have no evidence that I should be fearful. I've chosen the unknown more than the known in my life. And I have a lifetime of dedication. I grew up in an active household. I learned discipline from my dad by just observing him as a human being living that demonstration of discipline. It just was who he was. He was a Marine and he was just disciplined and he never gave up no matter how hard the challenge was. And he taught me just by living it. And that's what we also get to do. There's always this bigger perspective. And I love to zoom out, especially when we're talking about the mind and life experience, that there's this bigger perspective that we get to live the demonstration for others and set flame, to the spark of inspiration, which is so, so cool. And so whether it inspires someone to go for a walk, whether you're training for a 5K, it's not just a 5K, it's not just a stage race, it's not just a charity ride. Like these are important things that are moving you deeper into your inherent right to be well and have longevity and joy and strength and courage in your life, where courage is not such a big deal. It's just something about who you are and what you do. And just recently, last weekend, we were watching the T100 London. And the T100 is a triathlon that equals the distances into 100K, swim, bike, run. Hayden Wild won. And he won 99 days after he ran like a 27-something 10K. Okay, the guy is so fast. He's an amazing athlete. He's going to be a GOAT for sure, if he's not already. And 98 days from the T100 race, he was in an intense bike accident, punctured lung, fractured ribs, broken collarbone, like scapula all messed up, big surgery. And if you don't know Hayden Wild, just pull up any YouTube video of him and you'll see just like what an incredible athlete he is and what an amazing runner he is. And a racer, I mean, he just goes out hot from the start, and that's just who he is. And so when he crossed that finish line, like he had this big emotional release, because you get yourself into a situation. It reminds me of last year when my husband had a really bad bike accident 3 weeks before the Ironman World Championship. And so to our own degree, we could really relate to watching this guy cross the finish line the other day in first place, like just crushing the competition, running so beautifully, didn't look like he had a weakness at all, and how tough that is to hold it all together, as you move towards this goal. And so he had this release at the end, like everything was about getting him back and getting him to top shape, into top race shape, which is so high level these days. It's incredible how much faster triathlon has become. But what I was really observing in it is just like we're so focused on like the 98 days ago he had a bike accident, and that's so intense, right? But what no one was focusing on is just like that's him just being who he is. And if I was just me and I followed those things that call me, even if they scare me, like what more, like what could I experience that is extraordinary, but also very inherent and authentic to who I am, to doing those things that you just are like, I have to do this. I have no other choice. For me, that's what El Cruce is. I have no other choice. These things come into my awareness. Thank you, Telsis, who brought this into my awareness. And I just kind of sat with it. And I just knew right from the beginning that it was something. Yeah, I mean, I just go check out that win from Hayden Wild at the T100. It's just so incredible. In those 3 weeks after Beach crashed to him crossing the finish line in Kona, like, man, fear can be so seductive. But like one of the first things we said is that night after we got him home and, I got him at least lying down. He was in so much pain. He was so uncomfortable, but we brought him to emergency care and they bandaged him all up. And I was just like, we don't know how this story ends. Like, we don't know what's going to happen in 3 weeks. We just have to do everything we can, to right now just nurture our nervous systems and allow for this healing and believe in the unknown and have faith in what feels impossible. And it's really, really cool that we have the power to do that. And it's all in our minds. And sometimes like we need that panic to wake us up. If you are an athlete that's not consistent, if you're somebody that's signing up for things and then like life just keeps getting in the way and you're not following through on it, you may have this panic and you may look and you might be like, I don't have the evidence that I have enough. But let that wake up call be the moment that you begin this new trajectory towards building that trust in yourself, right? Like I heard this today, if you had a friend and every time you made plans to go to dinner, they had some kind of an excuse or something came up in their life and they just couldn't do it or they couldn't spend the money because this other thing happened, you'd probably stop asking them for dinner. Like you wouldn't trust that they'd show up. It goes the same thing for ourselves in building our own trust. So yeah, you might have panic training impulses sometimes, but look at them and see what's true and what's the evidence and where are you now and how's the body feeling? Because the most important thing is getting to that starting line healthy, okay? So yeah, that panic, it gets you moving. You think like, I'm going to crush that climb today because I have to. And in the short term, it works, it lights the fire. And so the yogis teach us, use everything to your advantage. Use the panic to your advantage. Use the evidence to your advantage. And for me, seeing these profiles is so helpful because I can pinpoint my training better. I've got some real quality terrain around where I live, local trails with long, steep inclines. For repeats, I have trail loops that are relentless, like day 2. And then also it's just showing me a bit of reality, like this event is legit. So I need to keep answering the question, what is the best thing for my training right now? And I think that question is working really well because I feel strong and I like this feeling of fitness. That definitely drives the throttle forward for me in like a massive undertaking like this event in Argentina. Knowing what I signed up for in miles and meters, it keeps me awake. It keeps me motivated to show up, to answer the question, to get to the starting line healthy. And I think, yeah, happy. Like happy's a given. I'm definitely going to choose happy that morning. And how do I know that? Because I've started to visualize just a little bit the feeling of being on the starting line on day 1. Oh, it's a big, big feeling. So I'm starting to feel that and it feels really joyful. And when we look at the opposite of like a panic training mindset, we look at a confident mindset. Panic training is a scarcity mindset. It is coming from a place of fear. Like there's not enough. You're not enough. You're not strong enough, fast enough, rich enough. And you need to do more and be more. You're never prepared enough, never trained enough, never enough, period. But what happens when we do that is we move away from the acceptance and the relaxation of where we are now. So it's very stressful. It's very stressful. But if we are training smart, answering the questions, showing up for the work, we can relax into where we are. And to think that we should be anywhere than where we are is stressful because it doesn't exist. We are where we are. So you can throw yourself into extra sessions, you can pile on miles, you can work yourself into the ground. But if it's coming from the panic place, you're just deepening the groove of I'm behind in your nervous system. And I wrote this in my book and I still contemplate it often. My teacher said it to me once and I've never forgotten it. We were talking about fear and he said, fear attracts the very thing you are fearing or its equal. And I don't want to be that type of magnet. I've lived that way before. I know how that is. So over time, it's much easier to see those and not give them any weight, but that comes with time. It comes with getting closer to it. It comes with like feeling the fear, looking at the fear, being less reactive just because the fear tells you something. And it's all about getting into the pause between stimulus and response. And that begins simply with paying attention to what we're doing while we're doing it. So when we just make a habit of watching the mind, we can see what it's impulsing into. And sometimes the answer will be more work. And sometimes the answer will be rest. Sometimes it will be do exactly what's on the plan. Nothing more, nothing less. The deeper work is noticing when the panic voice is actually trying to take the wheel. And I think to notice where you feel it is super helpful too, right? Like not the thoughts about what you're feeling, but the actual feeling. Tighten your chest, shorter breath, like that urgency that's not the same as motivation. It feels like it's coming from a desperation. Like it feels really weak, actually, if you really like get in there. So the moment that you feel the panic surge, you take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale. And as you exhale, it's like you're not just emptying your lungs, but you're emptying out the mental pressure that you just dumped into your system. And do that 3 times, right? And relax all the muscles in your face and feel your shoulders drop. It's a simple reset that has saved me from so many unnecessary sessions. It's kept me from overcooking myself before race day, sending an email or a text I would regret, injuring myself for the sake of pushing through. Like it has saved me so many times. And races like El Cruce are about decision-making, self-trust, the ability to meet the moment you're in without burning all your energy on the moments you think are coming. This is what these stages will demand of us, and we'll show up with those qualities baked in as we do the reps in our training in daily life. When we panic train, we're telling ourselves we're not ready. When we train with presence, we're building a bank of moments that say, I am exactly where I need to be. So as I look at the stages, I'm not pretending that this is going to be easy. I'm not sugarcoating it. It's going to demand everything I have. And I love that so freaking much. So stay tuned and thank you for reaching out. Some of you have sent me texts and messages on Instagram that you're listening to the podcast. And I love that so much. You have no idea. One of the biggest fears was like, I'm going to do this podcast and nobody's going to like it and it's not going to help anyone. It's going to be stupid. And oh my God. And I just had to just do it and get it out. And that's what I keep doing is to just do it and I get it out. But I would ask you this, take those amazing words that you sent me, please, and pop them into a review on the place where you listen. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, whatever. Leave a review. Help other people find this because, the matters of the mind and the matters of the heart, which I think I talk about often here, it's transcendent. You don't have to be an athlete to listen to this. I've had many people who are not athletes who have read my book and it's really, really resonated with them. We are more similar than we are different. So thank you so much for letting me know that this is feeding something within you. Amazing. Like, thank you. And I would just ask, leave a review somewhere. Just take your words and paste them in there. And that would be amazing. All right. I'll see you for episode 6. I have no idea what it's going to be about. This show is brought to you by Yogi Triathlete because you were born for more than just pushing through. We've been leading the way in holistic performance since the beginning, body, mind, and spirit. So thanks for tuning in. Stay awake, stay the course, and I'll meet you back here soon.